Hey there, Derek Jordan, Children's Pastor at Lakewood Christian Center, and I want to show you how to do this oil and water trick that we did to teach about the Word of God and how it can rightly divide in our lives. The first thing you may notice in the live video is that when the water is poured into the glass, it turns red, which that's not going to happen right now. The way you do that is you just put like 1 or 2 drops of red food coloring in the bottom of the glass. Those particular glasses that Dodo used have a slight dip inside the bottom, so you really can't see anything that's in there. And I'm not sure what these ones would do here or what one you might have, but that's how he does that, is he puts a little, like a drop or 2 of red food coloring, so when the water goes in, it turns red automatically. And he did a little magician's force to begin with by having a glass chosen. I believe now he knew which one had the red food coloring because you could actually look inside and see the red food coloring. So whichever glass was called for, he had never said which one he was going to put into it. So if they had called for the other glass first, he would have just put oil in it first. And vice versa. As it happened, they picked the Jesus one first and he poured the water in. And so you just had to, he made it very clear that which glass was which, and so that it seemed like it was a free choice, but whatever they picked, he was just going to do what he wanted to with that glass. Anyway, when you put the water or the oil in your glasses, you want to do the best you can to make sure that you are filling the glass completely, all the way up to the rim. Remove these. Now you may have noticed Dodo used this little piece of plastic, and you also may have noticed that he had a very hard time using this because it bends, and it was a bad choice for doing this. Normally, this particular trick is it's a bar trick where you use whiskey and water. I believe it is whiskey and water. I've never done it like that. I've always used oil, and you do it with shot glasses. And with a shot glass, you can just use a regular. This is a gift card, but a gift card or something that can sit on top of it, and it's a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to handle. That's obviously why they did it like that, but we were trying to make it a little bigger for the stage and just didn't have the right thing they were being used. So I found this. It's almost the same thing as the other one, but it has a piece of cardboard in it, so it's a little bit stiffer. I have never used this before, so I'm about to find out if this is even going to work. First of all, I know it does cover the top of the glass. Anyway, this works because it just works this way. We know that heavier things like to go on the bottom and lighter things like to go on the top. Most of anybody who's done object lessons knows about the oil and the water, and they've used it before. Just like this one here that you may have seen in previous video where we talked about the oil and the water and how long it takes to settle. We know that the oil will sit on top of the water. And of course, just another little tidbit is the oil is not going to mix with the food coloring because of the different consistencies as well. So your oil looks more clear or like oil, and then your food coloring is very dark blue. And in this, it'll be red if you use that optional part of the trick. And of course, the object here is to remove sin from the world and have the blood of Christ cover it or fill it, to fill all those spaces in. And the only way to do that is knowing that the water is heavier than the oil, so the water has to go on top of the oil. You have to make sure you remember that. The water goes on top because it's going to switch. So you take your divider, you put it on top of the glass that has the water in it, so that you want to create as good a seal as possible. You don't want to get, you really don't want to get any dripping or spilling. That's best case scenario, because you want this to switch out perfectly when you pull it out from the other one. And so before you pull it out, you want to try and make sure that you've got them lined up as perfectly as possible, and then you pull them apart. You want to do this fairly quick, and you'll see why it is a good idea to use food coloring, because it's a lot easier to see. You'll see that in the other video, but it's a lot easier to see with the food coloring. As you see, this worked much better than what Dodo did, because it was a lot stiffer. And so actually I'm going to go over there and zoom in just a minute, but this is almost a perfect transition right at the seam. This would have been so much nicer. Of course, I didn't use shot glasses. I bought these tiny little Coke glasses at the Dollar Tree. They weren't even $1. They were like 59 cents. So if you want to find those to use them, that'd be awesome. Just something small, and you can see that it's hard to see the different colors, but if you look right in here, you can kind of tell that the oil is at the top and the water is on the bottom. And it's still doing a little bit of separating. But that is how you do it. So enjoy it.